Welcome everybody to Chat Scene, a fun little spinoff of Charm Scene when we're just chatting. Right now, we've got a wonderful guest. Her name is Allie Gordon. She's been on the pod before in January, actually. She's back. She's in town to promote her book that she wrote with her own brain and hands.
It's amazing. It's published and it's real and it has an ISBN, I'm assuming.
It certainly does.
Oh my God.
Both 11 and 14 or whatever it is. Maybe it's 11 and 13.
What does that mean?
I don't know. There's two different ISBNs and one's longer than the other.
Wow.
Great. Maybe we'll find that out later.
Sort of for reasons I don't understand.
So Allie's on her book tour right now throughout the whole United States. We nabbed her in Chicago.
Yay.
And we're just going to chat with her. We know she can do music improv, but right now we're just chatting.
Yeah.
Right. And
I was actually told I'm not allowed to do anything.
We said, don't sing.
Yes.
If anything rhymes, I have to
You have to leave.
I have to leave.
Sam and Chris are not here. Just to be
Yes.
safe, they're not just sitting in the room
Well,
quietly.
they're here, but they have guns trained on us.
Yes.
Because if we start to sing or rhyme
That's true.
or rap,
Yes.
they're going to kill us.
Yes.
True.
You can't see them on camera, but they're like
No,
sort of
they're
American
off
Sniper
camera.
style
Yeah.
off camera.
Yeah.
camera,
We
off
are
mic.
nervous as hell.
Yeah. Don't say anything that rhymes with hell. Finger.
Ooh. No, but Allie, you just wrote a book.
Yeah.
You published a book. I'm assuming you wrote it.
I wrote it like 5 years ago at this point, which is
Did
like,
you really?
Wow.
yes, publishing is the longest process in the entire world. It is
Wow.
so long and slow.
Wow.
Which is one of the biggest challenges with it, I think, is that like you write a book and then you query a book, both to agents and publishers.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can go directly to a publisher. Sometimes you know what I mean? So it's like sometimes some people can skip the agent step. But either way, you write letters and send, let's say, 10 to 25 pages to many, many, many people, trying to convince them to read the rest of it. Then they ask you for comfortably 3 to 6 months to read the whole book before they get back to you to say like, no. And also like some people can even get agents to represent their book. And then the book goes out on submission to a bunch of different publishers, but if the publishers aren't interested in it,
Yeah.
it dies on submission. So some people won't have a book published for 5 years until after they
Wow.
wrote it. I'm lucky in that I had it picked up within like a year-ish of having it written.
Mhm.
Wow.
But then I went through 3 rounds of edits, which is also extremely common.
Mhm.
And then they want to give you enough runway to market the book and things. So you know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like we do the proofreading process and they go, great, it's out. And maybe if you're like self-publishing, you could, but like
Sure.
instead they were like, okay, cool. Now that it's been proofread, let's give it 8 months before it's released.
Jeez, I had no idea.
It's crazy. So then
Wow.
in those 8 months, I'm like sending it to magazines and podcasts and trying to go on places to talk about it. And they're setting it to places that maybe will review it. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think from the time it was like picked up to be published to the date of publication probably was like 4 years in there.
That's amazing.
And that's fast. I've talked to
That's-
authors who were like, "Oh, you're so fucking lucky." Yeah,
Can I ask you maybe a rude question?
I love that.
Do you still like it?
That's an amazing question.
because you wrote this so long.
I
I
think
think that's
like,
actually an amazing
I'll
question.
see improv videos of stuff I did 3 years ago, and I'm like, delete this from the internet, please.
I think if I reread the first draft of it, I'd be like, ew. But I've actually edited it so much that I
Okay.
am still proud of it
okay.
because I came back to it so much and I worked with a publisher. The editor that I worked with was great. I thought all of her feedback was excellent. And in moments where I really pushed back, she'd be like, cool, let's dig into that. Like, what is the reason
Oh,
that you're
that's
pushing
nice.
back on this? And sometimes in talking it out, I'd be like, you're right. Or she'd be like, you're right, which I think was great. So,
Wow.
but I do think it's a great question and not rude because I remember when I got my first round of edits back. So like I had like a meeting with the person who's the editor and she'd been extremely complimentary. She was like, I read the book. I had to take like 2 days to just like think about it before I even like started to put together notes because I was like crying and just like really moved by it. And she was like, and I really want my notes to be, she like sent me an email being like, my notes are taking a little longer to get back because I actually have like a lot to say, but I mean that in a good way. And I was like, cool. And then I get back a Word document of my full manuscript with like, you know, notes in the corners and things or things highlighted in red.
Mhm.
And it's just all of her feedback. And some of it's very easy where it's just like, this shouldn't be a semicolon. But then some of it's like, this blocking here is really confusing,
Mm.
which is like, I don't know where people are in the room or in
Right.
space in relation to each
Harder
other.
to fix than a semicolon.
Right. But then it's also stuff like, this should be longer. And you're like, oh my God.
Oh no.
And in those moments, I had the hardest time doing the first edit, not because her notes were bad or wrong or I didn't like them, because I wasn't in love with the book. I had already sent it off. I had already done a year's worth of trying to market it, which makes you fall out of love with something so fast.
Yeah.
I'd sent so many query letters to different agents and publishers and things being like, it's sci-fi. It's not sci-fi. It's literary fiction. It's upmarket. Do you know what I mean? So like I had like hoarded out my child and then I got all these notes back and she suddenly was like, I don't really understand what what do you mean by this? Like, what was your character thinking? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't love her.
Speaking of the genre of the book, let me
Also,
just.
speaking of the title of the book, we haven't said the title of the book.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
5 minutes in, Allie Gordon, author, comedian. We know her. We performed with her in Baby Wins Candy and Hamilton at the Edinburgh Fringe. She also performs with Tin Can Bros and Star Kid and lots of other things.
That's all true.
Yeah.
Also, the book is called.
The book is called "We Have Reached the End of Our Show." And do you have an elevator pitch for it? Are you tired of giving this elevator pitch?
I'm always like, it's about the last 25 days on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the big question of it is, what if you already knew you were dying when you found out the world was ending?
Yeah.
How would that affect your opinion of life being over? Would it be sort of a relief that everybody's got the same expiration date, that you don't have to leave before somebody else? How would that change your relationships? How would that change people's relationships to you? But it's also very much about like being a young person and dealing with grief and the loss of time and the loss of potential and sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I wish I could say I was smart enough to know this, but I wasn't. But like subconsciously, I wrote this during 2020. And like, obviously I was thinking like, what if I never perform again? Because there was a while there where I was like, I guess I'll never be on stage again. I guess like the part of my life where I'm a performer is done. And I see that so much in this book, but I don't think I was like conscious of it at the time. So like there's this sort of macrocosm of like the whole world's going to end, but like in it is this microcosm of like
What
three
if my
people.
world ends?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like if you already loved somebody who's very sick and you knew you were going to die, your life has ended 1,000 times before the end of the world because you're just like you're pre-mourning the loss of what it's going to be like to live without this person and figuring out what life would be like without them. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the micro and macro of like the million different ways your world ends.
Well, I'm sold.
It's really good.
This is
I loved
a
it.
funny combo. Also, Austin has read the book.
Yeah.
I have not.
But but go ahead and what's your elevator pitch?
For what?
The book.
What do you
I'm
think?
just kidding.
What do you think?
I heard it's about
looking at
a
the
road
cover.
trip at the end of the world.
Yeah, she's
I heard
right.
it's maybe kind of queer.
Yeah, look, she's
Yes,
right.
okay.
Yeah,
Look, she's right.
Yeah.
And maybe sad, but in like a beautiful way.
Look, she's right.
I should be your publicist.
Yeah. I think I just hired a publicist. I'm hearing it's queer and that a second plane is at the towers. I'm getting news. Yeah, so that's basically it.
Wow.
What were we saying? Oh yeah, so I hated it for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if I hated it, but I wasn't in love with it.
Yes.
And I really like to write in love.
Oh.
Like I don't tell anybody what I'm writing, and I don't like when I was working on
not even
this,
your husband or best
No.
friend? Nobody?
Really?
Wow.
in 2020, when there was nobody in the world to talk to or be with, I was writing this book furiously. Like I wrote this book very quickly. I think I wrote it in like 6 months, which is obscene.
That
for a
sounds
book.
short.
I think it was like 6 or 7 months top to bottom, which is very, very short for a book. It's also not long, but still short. And I'd go downstairs to hang out with my best friend Josh, who's my closest, dearest ally. I've known him for like 15 years. And he'd be like, what are you writing? And I'd be like, shut up. I like don't want to tell anybody anything. I don't want them to know the title. I don't want them to know the themes. I don't want them to know the characters. I want to have a tree house that is mine, that is like, nobody's allowed. You know what I mean? It's like, no one's allowed in.
Is that common, do you think, for writers?
I have no idea.
Huh.
I don't know. But that's how I like, if I have my, so often you don't get to do that, where it's like somebody's like hires you to write a thing. And so it's not like you can't be like, you can't see it. You're like, sure, I'll show you my draft at this point.
Yeah.
We'll check in about this thing. But like, if it's my project, I really like to be like, no.
Is it something like,
not my-
especially if you're actively working on it, like, oh, if I say too much in the real world,
Yes.
it lessens it a little bit or it like changes
Yes.
it? Yeah.
I think for me, it's twofold. One is that somebody once told me that you get the same dopamine hit from talking about something than from the same thing as it being done.
So if you say like, hey, I'm going to start working out, and everyone's like, oh, good for you.
that you get the same like, I'm
I did it.
amazing.
Yeah.
And that it can kind of disincentivize you like really truly following through on it.
Mhm.
And also it can sort of take away some of the joy of actually doing it. Like if you tell enough people like, yeah, I'm writing a book, it's going to be great. When it finally comes out and you're like, I wrote a book and it's great, you feel a little less like, you feel like less of like the true swell
That's
of pride.
good for you.
Wow.
That couldn't be me.
It's
I
tough.
love yapping about whatever I'm doing.
Same.
People I've met, like acquaintances, will be like, "Oh, how's that very specific thing about your life?" And I'm like, "I told you that at a party, didn't I? That's crazy."
I have told so many people the ideas I have for things that will never happen ever, like shows and books and stuff like that. And
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
maybe
Look,
try not telling anyone.
I don't know. I'm not saying like, look, this is the correct way to do it.
It's a way.
It's a way to do it, and it is unfortunately my way to do it. Like
Yeah.
I like love to be secretive about it, and many people were extremely annoyed with me. So like, to be fair, it's not great. People would be like, "How's the book?" And I'd be like, "Good." They'd be like, "You want to say anything else about it?" And I'd be like, "No."
I think you should be allowed to be annoying for the sake of art.
I agree.
Hot take.
Hot take. But that also, it was because the more I kept it secret, the more it became my little private playground, and the
Yeah.
more I looked forward to going there, because like it hadn't been polluted with other people's opinions, and nobody had said like, "Ah, that sounds like this,"
Mhm.
you know what I mean, or like whatever.
Yeah.
Or I'd been like, the protagonist's name is blank, and then being like, "That's my dad's name," and me being like, "Now I'm thinking
Oh,
about blah blah blah's
God.
dad." Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, it just like it was my unpolluted little world.
Can I say I've heard other people describe big projects like a book as a mountain or something like to chip away at, and you keep saying words like treehouse and playground,
It
and
was
I
fun.
really like that.
I did find it like kind of cozy in a way. I really like loved working on it.
Would you describe the book as cozy, Austin?
Absolutely.
Is
I
it
would describe-
cozy?
absolutely.
It's intimate. It's like I keep saying that it's like speculative fiction, but it's like wearing like the glasses, like the Groucho Marx glasses, and it's like, haha, it's a family drama.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, what if the world was ending? People are like, oh my God, what if? And I'm like, okay, just fucking kidding. We're actually gonna talk about grief.
That's exactly, Allie, that's exactly what you did to me.
Yes, yeah.
Because
It's
I
like, surprise.
love the end of the world. I love stuff about that. I mentioned before, like Station 11.
Yeah,
I
love
love
Station
this
11.
kind of stuff. And I love the cozy, let's get really, really in on the specifics and the relationships and the feelings around that.
One of the shows that you have told everyone that you're going to write one day is like a radio show during the apocalypse.
It's set. I want to do a show that's like whatever time I'm given.
love
That if it's an hour long show, if it's a half hour show, it is the last hour of the planet, and someone is
I love
broadcasting
that.
a radio
I think that's
show.
great.
I think
There's
that's
there's people on the radio at the end
I
of the
know.
I think I do. I mean, I'm trying to write as close to what I think could be true, and I do think
Yeah.
people will use the radio
100%.
and just be sending messages and stuff. Also, have you ever read Mr. Burns?
No.
Okay,
I've
Mr.
heard of
Burns
Mr.
is an
that's-
amazing play by Annie Washburn.
Yeah.
Anne Washburn.
Is that the Simpsons thing? Is
Yes.
that what it is?
Oh.
And it takes place in 3 acts.
I was
And
gonna
the
make a
first
joke
act,
about the Simpsons
No, it
thing.
is.
Yeah.
The first act is like 40 days after nuclear collapse.
Yeah.
And then the second act is 4 years. And then the third is like 400 years.
Whoa.
And it's about how stories and people telling stories become mythologized.
Yeah.
And so it goes from people like trying to burn
Oh.
time at a campfire being like, what happened in that Cape Fear episode of The Simpsons, to being like, it becomes the new American like mythology.
Mhm.
I
So like
think
there
about
really
stuff
was
like
a
that all
man
the
named
time.
Mr. Burns and he was evil. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta read that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
concept I think about a lot.
It's
I will
great.
definitely read that.
It's a really good
After
book.
I read
After
We
you
Have
read that.
Reached the End of Our Show by Allie Gordon.
Has it been weird then, after having it in your head for so long, has it been weird now hearing people talk about the characters and like
a little
suddenly knowing what was in your
I
head?
guess a little, but also I got excited for it
Yeah.
because it had been delayed for so long that I was like, okay, now I'm like really excited to hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah.
And so like I've done a couple podcasts, and one of the podcasts that I did that's like a literary podcast, I did an interview with them, but I didn't know that they talk about the book up top for like 20-ish minutes before they invite me in. And so I was like listening to the episode and I was like, whoa, oh my God, they're just talking about the book. And they were really complimentary and also extremely smart.
Mhm.
I'm going to shout them out just because people should listen
please,
to them.
please,
They're called literally books.
Mhm.
LITERALLY, literally. And in listening to 2 intelligent people talk about the book without me there, I was like, this is a dream.
Yeah.
They're so smart. They completely got everything I was putting down. They had their own interesting take on things. They had their own interesting take on the characters. And they were like, I feel like I'm more like this person. I feel like I'm more like this
That's
person.
like what we were doing before.
Yes,
too.
and
It's
then they were like, and
amazing.
this person like annoyed me so much because I don't react well to people who like deal with grief and things this way. And I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
And it was even nicer in a way that I wasn't there. It was just like, it was like getting you be at your own funeral. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, oh my God, they're talking about my book and they liked it. So in a way that's great.
Yeah.
I think I was more fearful of people when I was 3/4 of the way through being like, oh, you know what? Actually, you know who does something like that is in this movie. And me being like, oh my God, I'm out of love. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I think I was
yeah.
afraid of like getting the ick for my own thing while being in my own thing.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so
But yeah.
risky with something as long term as a book.
Yes.
You've put so much work
And
into
something
it.
That's why I like
so-
improv.
You have to be like in everybody's brains in equal measure, unless I guess you're writing like a first person narrative, but this is not. This is third person, and it goes back and forth in time.
Yeah.
So it's like you get to see people at different parts of their lives, and
Ooh, I love a non-linear book.
love. And so like
Lily, you should read this book.
I think I will.
Yeah.
I like really needed to like love the characters. And there was a time when I was doing these edits where I had to do the easy things first and come back to the other stuff because I like need to re-fall in love with them.
Mm.
And I had to like reread parts of it that I liked. And I had also made a goal for myself during the pandemic when I had all the time in the world to write the book
Mhm.
that I was like, I'm going to work on the book every day. That does not have to mean I have to write the book every day. I can like look at what I wrote last night fitfully at 2 a.m. and just edit it. Or I can look up images. Like I can put them together into like a
Mood
doc,
board.
mood board, and just like be like, okay, this gets me in the mood. Or like, I don't know, like there's like a character who grows up in like a very specific community. And I was like, I'll just do some research. I'll just look at some pictures. You know what I mean? Like,
Cool.
Yeah.
so like that counted to me as working on the
Absolutely.
book. And so I had to like go back to a lot of that stuff too, to like re-fall in love again, where I had to be like, oh, right. Like I no, wait, this is, I'm remembering now like what I thought, or like things I think that got cut throughout time, or like pieces of information that I had fleshed out as being true of the character, but didn't end up getting like into like the narrative in a specific way. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I remember
Is
at
that
one point,
still there in your head?
Yes.
All that backstory that didn't make it?
a little, or like,
Yeah.
or sometimes I'll like remember it. Like I remember at one point I was thinking about the character of Lisi,
Yeah.
who like comes from a very rich family and goes to New York to like be an artist. And I was
Mhm.
like, where did she go to school? And I was like, she obviously went to NYU and she went to the Gallatin School to
Yep.
like make her own major.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so real. And I remember like thinking that and it not ending up in the book. And I
Yeah.
remember like during like a pass of like editing where I sort of like needed to like remember why I loved her and like who she was.
Mm.
I like found that in a document and I was like, wait, I love her again. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, right. Like, yes, I do love her. Like I needed like little things like that to be like, okay, yeah,
Aw.
wait, I remember these people. But it was not easy. And then you send off those and then you have like a 4-month stretch before you get like edit 2. And it got easier every time, but it
Mhm.
definitely was like, there were definitely moments where I was like, oh, I'm working on this other thing and I'm not in love right now.
Oh, yeah. And you suddenly have to shift back
Yeah.
into this other
You have to like go
project.
back in love again. I don't know. I'm sure there are other people who like think about this in a lot less of a ushy-gushy way,
Mhm.
who are just like, yeah, it's a fucking book. When
Yeah,
my editor
and-
sends it to me, I rewrite
And
it.
we're not interviewing them.
Yeah.
No.
But that was my experience with it. And I think what is interesting is I will probably never have that experience again, because while the pandemic was horrible and I was in New York and it was like apocalyptic at
Mhm.
times, it was the most time I've ever had for myself. And I used to like go on walks just to think about the book. I'd be
Wow.
like, hey, I'm putting on my headphones. Like, I'll be back in like an hour. And I'd like put on a mask and like pull my hood up
Mhm.
and walk through these like empty streets of New York where no one ever was because
Mhm.
it was like empty and weird. And I would just like, it felt like being like, you know, like the Bronte sisters. I'd be like, I'm just going to go to Ponder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will never ever have
Wander
that
the
kind.
moors.
I'll never have moors ever again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there will just never ever be a time in my life where I can like work on one project alone and in love with it, with as much time in the world as I want.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like I gotta fucking work.
Okay,
for,
you
like-
heard that, Bats. Get on it.
Yeah, bats.
We need another one.
We need another one,
Bandusky
Bats.
too.
Come on.
I know, because I will say the other thing that's so weird is that now that it's out, the question I have when I talk to everybody is, what's the next one?
Yeah.
When I talk to agents, when I talk to
Yeah.
development people, when I talk to friends, everyone's like, cool, yeah, what's your next novel? And I've had to like be like, oh my God, what's my next novel? So I had to like really think about that.
Wow.
Do you have an answer?
I was going to say.
I actually do have an answer now.
Would you like to talk about it or do you hate talking about it?
Okay, well, here's what I will say. I want it to be funny.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't necessarily think it has to be like laugh out loud hysterical, but the one thing that is so funny about this novel is that it is not fucking gut busting.
There's
I
little
think-
moments.
totally. There are totally moments of
there's so
humor.
much joy in this. Yeah.
Joy, I agree.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's like a funny book.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to be like a comedian who like wrote a not very funny
Mhm.
book.
Yeah.
And I was like, it would be really great if the next one is about being funny, is about making comedy and like truly being like funny. So like that is the next idea.
Okay.
I was just on a Southwest flight and they didn't have a phone charger or in-flight entertainment. So I stared at the back of the seat in front of me for about 5 hours and just like raw dogged thinking about it. And I came off the plane. I was like, okay, I know what it's about.
I think everybody should raw dog thinking a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking
Great.
about how much time we spend on our phones.
It's just so
Not
nice.
to be like a boomer, but it's bad.
I mean, my phone is great. It's got tornado videos.
Yeah.
Where else am I going to see? Where else am I going to be served hundreds of tornado videos if not on my
Allie's
phone?
entire, we just learned this, her whole TikTok algorithm is
just
like
tornadoes.
videos of tornadoes because it's the only thing she'll watch
It's
to
the
the
only
end.
thing I'll watch. And they're so great. We actually just had our first EF5 ranked tornado in the United States since like 2017 or something.
That's a big one?
That's the worst one.
Oh, okay. The
It was
biggest.
in North Dakota. It was a big deal. Sorry, in the tornado community.
I
Sure.
can't
On
wait
Tornado
for
Talk.
the-
Oh, the
kind of a big
tornado
one.
heads? Yeah.
for the AI generated summary of these podcasts that we can't turn off on Spotify. And I can't wait for it to be like, they hard pivot into tornadoes.
Tornado Talk.
Yeah.
Do we get AI? Does it do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Have
this.
you seen that?
No.
They'll
I'll show you
summarize
later.
I don't listen to our
things.
podcast.
I don't listen to it, but I to quality
Yeah,
assurance,
it'll like
make sure it
tell
like
you
sounded
what
all
it
right.
is.
And then it'll be like the introducing Sam Scheidler, or like the gang they sing a song about squirrels or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. I'll
I
show
have
you
to
later.
go. I had
So it
no
will bring
idea.
up the tornadoes.
It's
at
going to
some
say
point.
hard awkward pivot to tornadoes.
But yeah, I think thinking is amazing.
Yeah.
Thinking will answer so many problems if you just kind of like, I don't even mean like brainstorm thinking, like, oh my God, I have to solve this problem. But I think if you give your brain space, you'd be amazed how many problems it naturally solves.
Yeah.
But I also think that is a improv skill. And like something that's been very interesting about doing press and publicity for this book is that when I talk to people who are primarily readers or primarily like editors, writers, whatever, they're like, oh my God, like the way that you get into a scene with dialogue and the way that people like talk, it's so unique. It's like so, it like feels really alive. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's just improv. Like that's just improv. Like it's just that skill that improvisers have, which is like knowing where a scene needs to get, but it not being the first thing you say. It's like it's an inherent skill that
keeping
like
the stuff in your back pocket.
improvisers have and are really confident at, which is just being like, I know that the point of this will be that we ultimately need to argue about this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to come into the scene and just be like, fuck you for da-da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, what's a good and interesting way to like flint this fire a little bit?
Yeah.
What can I say that would annoy this person? And then eventually we'll get to like the song that should be this. But if I say it right now, that can't be the title of the song. That would be
That's no
totally
fun.
blowing it.
You got to let it build.
And so like, I did not think of that necessarily as like a skill that I had that was like specifically being put into like when I'm sitting down to write, I'm not like, I've got this fucking skill. But it's been very
Zip, zap,
interesting.
zap with yourself at the keyboard.
I'm zip zap zap, and I actually did a lot of arguing with myself while I was writing this. Where I was like, wait, hold on a second, like this is not what I want the argument to be about. And I was like, what if I was really arguing this? Like, what would I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people have mentioned that.
That's a lot of times when improv, like if we just taught, Austin and I just taught an improv workshop to like intermediate players, I would say. And they said something like, how do you like react if something like crazy happens in a scene, like, and my mind goes blank, what do I do? I'm like, what would you literally do?
Yeah,
like
what would
in the
you
scene,
literally
someone
do?
had like, person A had taken off person B's, improv backpack and thrown it across the room. And I was like, you don't have to think.
Yeah.
If someone took your backpack off and threw it across the room, what would you say?
Yeah, they'd be like,
start there.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
that's a great
obviously,
response.
and as you get better at improv, you can be like, what would this character say?
Right.
But start with, what would I say? You don't have to think of something funny.
Right.
You just say something real. Hey man, that's my backpack. I have things in there.
And also
Yeah.
like it's like the next level of improv, I think, is like beyond, like somewhere between intermediate and advanced, is like if I know that the pinnacle of this scene should be the throwing of the backpack, it can't be the second thing that happens in the scene. But how can I telegraph to this other person, this is the scene. We've been waiting for this.
Okay, here
but
we
like
go.
we're gonna get to we're going to the backpack throwing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like how do you come on with the right energy? How do you say the right kind of things? Like how do I like beam into your brain? Like we're gonna remember that fight we were gonna have? Like we're having it now. Like this is the scene where we're finally
and
gonna
then
do it.
you say something to like you say something almost baiting your improv partner to negate you by
Yes.
being like, well, I'm keeping my backpack on.
Right. And you're like,
Yeah.
it's happening.
Yeah.
And that's like, I feel like that is like one of those like skills you learn as an improviser. And I think it like really improved my writing.
Wow.
And it's to the point where multiple unrelated people have brought it up. Of just being like, the scenes progressed in like this way where I was like, oh my God, we're suddenly fighting about this thing. And I was like, it felt like surprising and inevitable. And I was like,
Yeah.
I think that's improv. I really do think that's improv.
That's fascinating.
Because I certainly wasn't like, when I was like outlining the book, I wasn't like, and then they'll say this, and then they'll say this, and then they'll say this, and then finally they'll say this. I was like, this is the scene where this happens.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel particularly difficult to me to like sort of like get in media res starting in that part and being like, okay, it's building, it's gonna happen, this is what's gonna happen now. Yeah, I think that I like really do think that's like an improv skill.
Wow.
This is dangerous. You're so interesting. This is how Charm Scene turns into Chat Scene permanently. I just want to talk to everyone I know about their personal theories.
I realized I haven't said anything for a while because I'm honestly just like, this is fascinating.
You were like, my backpack.
I'm listening.
Somebody threw my backpack.
I'm listening to this for real right now. This is great.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I mean, improv is unfortunately, I say this all the time, the best skill in the world.
Yeah.
It's the least marketable skill.
Mhm.
It's probably the skill that you put the most hours into that does not have the like immediate return on it.
Mhm.
Obviously, you can like get cast in shows and maybe you do like a fringe, and maybe you get like $2,000 or like whatever. But it's like not like when you're a doctor and you put hours into something and then you're like done with your residency and then it's like, cool, you're a doctor now forever.
No, and then you get hired for like corporate gigs and it's like the most money you make is the worst comedy you're going to do.
Exactly.
The best comedy you're going to do is the show for like 4 people
for
at
$0.
Yes. For no money. Actually, you paid to be there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's where the best comedy happens.
Right. And you brought props because it was a sketch show and it actually cost you a $40 Uber to get there.
Yeah.
So you lost money on it.
You spent so much money.
Yeah. So like improv is so funny because like the return on it sucks. But it is by far the number one skill that has like weeded its way into every other thing I do.
Mhm.
I'm a better lyricist because I did improv and musical improv and like learned about different people's perspectives and honestly just like more words. Like you learn so many words when you do improv.
Like what?
Like
Teach us a word.
like I don't know, like just like think about like okay.
The writer
think about
don't
the
know
words
no word.
that you say. Don't you like to do word clouds? Isn't that you? Word
no,
clouds?
that was maybe Alan. I forget.
Somebody loves word clouds.
I know what you're talking about.
I think if you generated the word cloud of my average day, it would be largely the same words. It'd be like, Wesley, my cat. Do you know what I mean?
That's
and then
the
like
biggest word in the middle.
that's the biggest word.
Yeah.
But then it's like, like lunch, work, the students that I teach. It's like the word cloud's going to be the same word cloud. The minute that you throw a musical improv show into that night, the word cloud's crazy.
Yeah.
Suddenly we're talking about like the CIA in the 60s because that's where like it naturally goes. You know what I mean? So like
because someone on cast just watched a movie about the CIA in the 60s.
Yes, we're like, oh, I just watched Sorcerer. It was a great movie. And you're like, we're doing a fucking jungle road trip truck movie now. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like you suddenly are making references to things you only kind of half know, but sort of remember from school.
Dude, everything I know about Lord of the Rings is from dudes I've done improv scenes with. I need to just watch
never watched
We
Lord of the
should
Rings.
just
I need
watch
to.
Lord of the Rings.
You're just giving me list after list of things to
But
read.
wait, Lord of the Rings is my favorite.
I know I should.
And
if nothing else, to get better at improv.
Yes, but also I will say like I sometimes when people are like, you like all that stuff, I'm like, no, I don't. I don't like all that stuff. I like Lord of the Rings. I haven't read any fantasy novels. I haven't read like what's the
Wheel of
one
Time's
Court of
pretty good.
Thorn and I read the first thing in Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
But this is not my genre. Lord of the Rings is amazing. Lord of the Rings is a movie about friendship and the power of friendship. I swear to God.
Okay, damn.
I know that
I'm
doesn't
gonna
sound
watch
true.
it.
but
I
it's a movie
literally
about the power
told
of
you I was
friendship.
going to watch it.
I think I own Fellowship.
read
if
it.
you want
Is
to
it-
read the first one.
Is one better? Okay.
The first one's my favorite.
Same.
You have to watch all three, but like the first one's my favorite.
Even the first movie is like this. They're friendly. It's like the Harry Potter movies where it's like I like when they're friendly and everybody's being nice to each other.
Everybody's together.
And then
Me
the fourth
too.
movie just tanks immediately because everyone
like,
starts getting dark
nobody's
and
having
mean and
fun.
scary. No one's
Yeah.
time
What's
traveling.
the time travel? I was going to
That's
say
the
the
third
third
one.
one.
Yeah.
Is there any time traveling in Lord of the Rings?
No, I'm sorry.
Damn.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not until you watch it.
Until I write fanfic.
Until you
Yes.
exactly.
Until
Yeah.
you write the fourth installation in Lord of the
Until I
Rings.
watch the movies out of order by accident. I'm like, damn, the way they told the story non-linearly is so
Yeah,
interesting.
you're like, this is crazy. They made it home, but then they were back again. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
spoilers.
I forget what we were saying. Anyway, oh yeah, improv is great. But yeah, it's just like, I think if you genuinely looked at what I said in a day or thought about or the connections I made or the names I made up,
Yes.
the days that I do improv or coach improv
Yeah.
or whatever, I'm like using my brain in a different way.
It's
and like,
true.
I think I like have gotten better at basically everything else in my life because of those like little brief forays into being like,
what's a little
this is
hack?
medieval.
No one
This
ever
is
talks
everything
about
about
this.
medievals.
Yeah.
Improv has made me so much better at small talk.
Oh yeah.
Like when you have to talk to someone for 10 seconds at like the bus or the elevator or whatever, like, oh my God, I'm so good at small talk now because I can just think of something to say. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But,
Anyway,
but
take an
also,
improv class.
don't you know, like, do you know state flags are only country flags? Do you
See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't even remember telling you I liked flags, but then people,
This is
such
so
a
many
brand for
people
you,
talk to me
yeah.
about flags, and I'm like, I know I
You
told
did it at
about
like
that.
every
No,
like
stop.
mic
When I
check.
Oh, that's right. I did do a bit at the mic check where I
Yeah.
just talked about a flag.
Or you'd
today.
like rap about a couple different like flags.
I
that was
know
on
some
them.
of the state flags. I don't think I would do very well in a quiz. I know
When
probably
Lily and I
15.
first met at the Annoyance Jam, like before I knew her name, she was Flag Girl
Yeah.
because she was up there doing scenes about flags.
Flag girl.
Yeah.
I love
But that would be a
flags.
good small talk if you're like, where are you from? It's like New Hampshire. You're like, oh, New Hampshire. That's
A seal
Live
on a
Free or
badge?
Die.
That has
It's
happened.
got
That has.
the
I met
granite
like
state or
a
whatever.
nice couple from Argentina, and I was like, "Oh, I love the flag of Argentina. It's so
Love the
pretty
flag
with
of
the sun." And they
Argentina.
were like, "Oh my god, like
Yeah.
you know our culture, or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I know the
Like
flag."
light blue and yellow. How cunt?
See, exactly.
Who's got light blue and yellow on their flag?
I mean, it's no Seychelles, but
Whoa.
That's my favorite flag.
What's the one that's not? There's only one flag that's not a rectangle.
state flag?
Yes, you are thinking. Well, there's a couple that are squares, but squares are rectangles.
Yes.
You are thinking of the flag of
Ohio?
Nepal, which is
like a
two
triangle?
triangles, which is
Oh.
it's math relating to important mountains. Mount
Wow.
Everest is in Nepal.
Or Ohio, which is the pennant.
Ohio is a
Wow.
swallowtail pennant.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't just say God, Jesus is real, hell is real.
No, that they say that for that's the
They say that
surprise.
for the. They say
It's
that
a
for
picture
the,
of a
You're like,
baby.
neat flag. Oh my god. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I don't want to be on this highway anymore.
like a sonogram of a fetus, and it's like I have a heartbeat and
Yeah.
feelings and fingerprints.
I like the ones that are out on the highways now that say, "When you die, you will meet God."
Whoa.
He must
Good,
be
because
so
I
busy.
have some things to
That
say.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, I will. I didn't know if I thought that certainly at least I would have to wait in line. I'm not like one of his like biggest fans.
Immediately.
Do you know what I mean? Like literally,
Yeah.
like that's such a promise.
Mhm.
VIP.
I'm like dead, and then immediately it's like God.
I gotta try this.
Yeah, he wasn't even like, look,
Crash
I'm
the
going to
car.
get to some of my bigger fans first.
He's like, I'm
You
still
can-
dealing with the people who died in August. Can you just take
There's
a
gotta
number?
be a
Yes.
backlog. Yeah.
The billboards seem to promise that it will be fucking immediate.
That's so funny.
I didn't know it was so important. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I would have
wow.
thought he at least would be like, oh
Did
my
you stop
God.
in Ohio on your tour, or are you just doing big?
No, I've just driven through Ohio quite a bit.
Mm.
So I went to school in Ann Arbor, and we did a bunch of driving
Oh,
around.
yeah,
You
yeah.
basically got to go through Ohio to go anywhere.
I went to school just outside of Toledo.
Where'd
Yeah.
you go to school?
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know
A lot of
everyone-
friends went to school.
I worked
People
at
love
Cedar
to
Point
talk
for
shit
like
about
4
Ohio.
years. Yeah.
My-
I was just there.
I think the first time I ever went to Ohio, I had an absolutely magical experience because I was a kid and I went to COSI, which is a cool
Oh,
science
COSI.
museum. And I think we spent the whole day there and did like everything. I still have.
It's a
I
science
liked-
museum.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite days ever
Columbus
as a kid.
Science.
Is that what it is?
COSI.
COSI.
Yep.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you
So
have
you're
a
like, Ohio
child
rocks.
and you're in Ohio, yeah, no. So I thought of Ohio as this magical place where I went to the science museum and I got a Happy Meal.
The Science Center in Cleveland's also
Pretty
pretty
good.
cool.
I think my dad had like a conference or something, so we all just went.
That's great.
Yeah, I got a unicorn toy in the Happy Meal.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
Sounds
wow,
perfect.
Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio
Yeah.
rocks.
Well, speaking of places, you
Oh,
are
yeah.
from LA. But
Well,
well, you live in
kinda.
LA.
Yeah.
But
I was
kind of
born-
now? Where are you now?
So I was
You're-
born and raised in
You're
Manhattan.
yeah,
Right,
New
right.
York
So
girly
I-
turned LA girly.
Right.
I live in
yeah.
LA. I've been in LA for about a year and a half. I really, really do like LA.
Because I remember when we
genuinely.
met at Fringe, I was like, okay, so you're one of the LA ones. And you were like, kind of. I've been there for 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, I also feel really protective over New York because I'm like, I feel like I learned to do comedy in New York.
Mhm.
And so sometimes, especially when I'm talking to like improvisers or comedians, I'm like, no. I'm from New York. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Even though like LA is so fun and brilliant and like there's like an amazing indie musical improv scene in LA and it's like so fun to be part of it.
Oh, good.
I'm like, no, wait, my education was New York.
Yeah.
I just like feel, I don't know.
you have to explain. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You have
do.
to understand. I'm from New York.
Just because, like,
Where did
yeah.
you do classes?
Okay,
Or did you?
I did do classes. I honestly still am very much like a company man for UCB.
Mhm.
I know lots of people who took classes a million places. I like really didn't. My first class at UCB was my 101 class was exceptional
Mhm.
because it was taught by this guy named Sean Diston, who is probably one of the best teachers UCB's ever seen.
Wow.
So I had like an uncommonly fantastic 101 class that got me deeply in love with it. Then I started I took like 201 and I started doing jams and stuff. And Sean Diston, again, was such a lovely guy. He's now so busy he can't teach. He's like a TV writer and he's like on everything.
Mhm.
So if you look up his name, you'll find him. But
Can
at
I
the
ask
time,
a sidetrack
yes.
thing real quick? I'm about to teach. I taught it a few times. I'm teaching level 1 at Annoyance, and my new class starts in a week. What was so knockout about this class that I can
He
steal?
was a generous laugher,
Okay, done.
which is great. I also I feel like I learned what I wanted to be in a teacher from him as well, where I was just
Wow.
like, oh, you make class feel challenging but warm.
Mm.
And even though it was a 101, he wasn't like, great job, everybody sit down. He always had something to say about the scene.
Yeah.
And he
Okay.
was sort of speaking to people's level, so to speak.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like I could tell he was giving me notes that were hard, where he would just be like, this is something I want you to think about in the future. He would be like, you said yes to that, but like it had no personality. You just were saying
Mm.
yes 'cause I told you to. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I mean, like that is exactly
Wow.
what I was doing. But then to somebody else, he would just be like, Tim,
Cheat out.
funny.
Yeah.
Way
Tim.
to
Do you know
get
what I mean?
up there.
Yes, but
Uh-huh.
in a way, I wasn't like he's giving Tim good notes. I was like, oh, this is a teacher who like really wants everybody to leave this class and be like, that class
He's
rocked.
calibrating.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like I felt like he was paying attention and he would remember things from week to week and he was like keeping track of people's growth as opposed to just being like, I'm clocking him for my fucking 101
Yeah.
when he like could have easily been like the AD of the theater. I did not ever feel like he was being like, yeah, okay, let's go do the 3-line scenes. Like I felt like his attention was so great on it.
That's okay. A phrase is coming to mind, which is improv advice that I read maybe in Will Hines' book or something. And I tell this to my students too, which is know, K-N-O-W, know, care, say.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you're in an improv scene, know what you're talking about. No, none of, oh, this is my first day as a surgeon. I don't know what to do. I'm like,
Yes.
you're the most brilliant surgeon
You
in the
have
world,
to.
Yeah.
actually. You know, you care what's going on, and you say something about it.
Yes.
And it sounds like that's a good way to be an improv teacher too.
Yeah.
To like know what level each student is at, to care about them, and to keep
And
talking.
to like affirm.
Yeah.
Or to, in some moments, be like, not as good.
Yeah.
But like, let's try and diagnoose why. Not to just be like, you didn't please me today.
Yeah, that
But,
was
like,
bad. Okay, 4 more people up.
yes. But
Yeah.
to just be like, do you remember how in that scene where we were at the McDonald's and you were throwing this fit about the Happy Meal? Remember how funny it was? Because it was like, you shouldn't have cared that much. You're like a grown man. Do you remember how, like, do you see how like in this one, like you didn't care at all about blah, blah, blah? And like, I would see people be like, yeah. And I
To see the wheels turning.
yes, you would see the
Yeah.
wheels turning.
It's so hard to find like teachers that are really willing to give that level of feedback. At least in
Yes.
Chicago, at least with my experience going through classes, it was always very difficult to have teachers that would really get into that. It was usually like maybe
I
the
think this
last
was
day of class, you finally
Uncommonly
get
good
that.
for a 101.
That's amazing.
But it did genuinely make me go, I'm not taking class anywhere else.
yeah.
So like, God bless him.
Wow.
And then he also was very lovely. And that like, as I was going through the levels, probably when I was around like 301 or 401, I had him as a teacher again.
Mhm.
And he was like, hey, here's something I notice. A lot of funny women drop out. And I don't know when that happens because I've not been privy to what's going on. But I'll see funny ladies coming up in
early
class
levels,
and then
yeah.
suddenly they'll stop coming to jams and suddenly they
Mhm.
won't take advanced study and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, if that happens to you, if you come to an inflection point where you're like, I want to leave. Will you talk to me? Will you tell me? He was like, because I don't know
Wow.
what it is. Is it that they're being harassed? Is it that the teachers aren't listening to them? Is that they're not getting laughs in jams? Like what's going on?
Oh, so he cares.
He cared.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I felt so respected and seen and that he like truly got what I was going for. And he did this not just for me. He did this for so many people. There were like a whole generation of people from New York who like were like then on Herald Night and things where I guarantee if you were like, who were some of your most influential teachers? They'd be like, oh, well, Sean Diston for sure. Like
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah. He was just great. I hope someday he hears me say this. I'm
Oh.
sure I said it to him in person, but like,
We'll tag
it's like when they were
Yeah.
talking about my book and I wasn't
Yeah.
there. I was like, oh my God, they're saying it.
Oh,
But yeah, he would like coach advanced study groups of doing improv for free because he
Okay.
wanted to teach the pattern game better. Do you guys know pattern game? Do you do that here?
I don't know.
maybe we have it under a different name.
No. Okay. Well,
What's
so
the
the
pattern
pattern game is an opening for heralds. It's a way to
Okay.
generate premise. It is bad. It sucks. It's horrible to watch. It's so boring and nobody teaches it the same. And Sean was like, I think I have a cogent way of teaching pattern game, but I need to practice it on good improvisers. So he would give us free coaching sessions where he would do pattern games into heralds just so he could better teach the pattern game.
Wow.
Damn.
And then we got free instruction from it. Just the best.
That rocks.
So
Wow.
basically, long story short, he made me basically say like, I'll never take class anywhere outside of UCB. And also it was like a really great time for performers. And it was like people that people would know, like Aaron Jackson and Josh Sharp and people doing like just like insane shows that were like, Sean was like the arm of it that was like ultra principled and like really theory based. But then I would see people who were just like so themselves and like absolute fucking maniacs. And I was like equally inspired by both and like didn't know how to be either at the time. Now I feel like a maniac. Like I
Interesting.
I feel like a maniac now. Like I'm like, oh, I'm a maniac. But like I didn't know how to be both logical and have my eye on the ball, but also be a maniac and like just
Wow.
like follow my instincts. And like, so I really admired a bunch of people at the same time. And then I was like, probably on Lloyd Night or something at the time, which was like JV Herald Night. You're
Mhm.
still doing Heralds. And you can audition for or apply for these things called advanced study classes, which were like 8 weeks of class about a specific thing. So you'd learn a form. You'd be like, this is the Evente advanced study,
Mhm.
or this is the movie, and we'll all learn how to do the movie. And there was a musical improv one. But the requirements were that you had to have taken like a equal level of like 101 or 201 at like a theater that had a musical improv curriculum, because UCB did not have a musical improv curriculum.
Mhm.
And I lied.
Yeah.
I just lied. I was like, what would I not know?
Yeah.
And so like in my application, I was like, hi, I'm Allie. I'm on Lloyd Knight and I went to musical theater school and of course I've taken 101 and 201 at a theater of equal measure and really love it and would love to be doing more musical improv. So like fully lied my way into the class.
Wow.
The first day
And
of
there's
class.
no transcripts. There's nothing to check.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there wasn't.
Not
I was
like
like, I did this at the
officially.
magnet. I did not do it at the magnet. So the first day of class, the first thing we do is was Amber Petty was the teacher who was great. And she was like, you know what we should do to just get to know each other? Let's just do like solo spot songs. So we all got up one at a time to do solo songs in front of the whole class. And I was like, oh my God, I've never done musical improv in my whole
That's
life.
a diabolical thing to do on day one.
It was actually so fun.
Really?
I don't remember what mine was because I think I was like so nervous about it, but you suddenly saw everybody's point of view. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's crazy? If I was in a class today and someone said that we're going to do little
Solo
solos like
spot
that, in my head I would go, I've never done this before in my life. I couldn't possibly do this.
I mean,
What are you
the
talking
least
about?
fun thing to sing is a solo.
Yeah.
End of story.
Hard disagree. I love a solo.
I want to do a duet or something. Or it could be a solo with support, but like doing like a true solo song is like,
I gotta work up to it.
I don't even remember what mine was, but I remember seeing people go up and being like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
Whoa.
And just like knowing their personalities. I met Daniel Tepper in that class.
Oh, we love Dan Tepper.
I just met him.
The best.
Yes, he was also on the Madison gig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't drive?
No.
No.
Well, maybe. No.
I think
he flew.
We're just getting into
I love him
yeah.
so much. We like were immediately like only brother and sister in scenes in that class. It was like, oh well. But I just like met people who were great and they were so funny. And I was like, I'm obsessed with this. But I did mostly lie my way into my musical improv from there.
And what is music improv but lying?
Yeah.
Well, so you had like written musical stuff before,
Yes.
right? I mean,
And I had like gone to musical theater
musical
school.
sketch and writing like
And you know
parody
how to
musicals
sing and all
stuff.
of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like when they were explaining things like structure, I was like, oh, sure.
You're like, I know what a verse is. I know what a chorus
Yes.
is. I know what a bridge is for.
And also like, so like, I guess I never had like a class where they were like, here's a version of a song. It goes like verse, verse, chorus, verse.
Mhm.
I was like, like people would do it and I'd go like, I can mimic that.
Uh-huh.
Or like, I hear you do it and I can understand the structure. So I'll go from there. So things I had to get better at were like rhyming and like what a show's length feels like. Do you know what I mean? Like, because like, I do think
that
that's like a
takes the
thing you have to
longest
learn.
to get into your bones too. I used it when I first started doing music improv shows like it was Hamilton, like like an hour long narrative show. I would wear a watch for every show because I was always like, okay, it's been 15 minutes, so we're probably about a quarter of the way through the narrative.
Right.
Like I was,
and so this can't happen yet, but it should happen.
I know,
soon.
and now it's just I feel it, and every now and then I'm like, it feels like the show's almost over, and I'll like peek at the clock backstage, and I'm like, yep, I'm right.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating now is that we mostly do hour-long shows. I do a show here on Tuesday nights that is 25-minute sets.
It feels so different.
Mm-hmm.
A 25-minute musical, so like 5 scenes probably.
It's 5 scenes, hopefully.
Narrative or not?
Narrative.
Yeah, interesting.
But it's literally it's opening
it's
number.
2 teams, so it's like a 25 and a
So the
25.
show overall
Right.
is an hour long.
Right.
But it's 2 completely different
opening
acts.
number, protag, antag, charm scene, protag meets antag, finale. That's it. That's all you get.
Whoa.
And
Tough.
so it's really like, no, you just gotta like,
Hammer it.
it's a great exercise. When I coached last season of TMI, I made a point though that we had a rehearsal. I was like, I'm going to give you all a full hour because if this is supposed to be a learning show, I want you all to feel how different that is when you have that room to play.
Right.
And
They suddenly have solved all of the problems at minute 25, and you're like,
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And
25
suddenly they weren't all
minutes.
rushing out on stage to be on top of each
Yeah,
other and
yeah.
they were playing. And it was like, great. Now find a way to play that in 25 minutes because that was so much more enjoyable to watch. you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were definitely like more things to learn from there. But that class was like this like crazy crucible where I learned everything about musical improv really fast.
Yeah.
They were some of my favorite shows I've ever done, genuinely. Like we had like class shows at the end of it that were like, they weren't like class shows, they're like advanced study shows or whatever. And they were so fun and like joyous and some of the best improv I'd ever done at that point in my life. Like as like a
we can
semi-young
relate to that
improviser.
too. We took music improv 1, 2, and 3 at Annoyance. That's the program.
And styles and genres, which felt kind of like 4 at Annoyance. There
Yes,
was little
that's like a
bonus thing. Yeah,
specific.
yeah.
Keeney Cam teaches that, where it's
Yeah.
like not just singing, but it's like, okay, what if it's blues? What if it's
Oh,
screamo?
that's
What
so
if it's
fun.
whatever? It is
Oh my
really
But
fun.
we were all part of
I
the
would take that
first,
class for fun.
It was the first post-COVID like wave of new music improv classes in the city. No one
Anyway,
had come
we
back
were
with
like,
these.
I think we felt that too, and we were so like everyone was so excited to be there, and then we were like, okay, this is our last level 3 show. Let's all dress to the nines, and we all
Yeah.
put on like dresses and suits, and it felt really fun.
And people still talk about those songs that we did. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if we went back and watched,
no
we'd be
joke,
like,
we still talk about these shows
Uh-huh.
like psychos of just being like, do you remember how great? But actually,
Yeah.
to that point, we were talking about the episode of Charm Scene that I did where I started a song, There Are Ghosts Here in the Clear. In these musical improv shows that we also talked about, Curtis Rutherford, who was an improviser I looked up to, who was on Herald Night, was the person I saw start a song in the clear. And I
Wow.
thought it was the coolest, most badass, most owning the stage thing I'd ever seen a person do in any improv show ever. And I literally, until that day, had thought, it's my dream to start an improv song in the clear.
Yeah.
Can I ask if anyone listening doesn't know it? Because honestly, I've never heard it called that. What does in the clear mean?
No musical lead up. So like we
Right,
were
yeah.
talking and I
Yeah.
just started singing.
Yeah.
As opposed to the piano being like bum 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 bum.
And then you
and then you
sing.
sing.
Which is very tricky. You have to know that you have a really good MD.
Right.
For
Who can
that to
catch the key
happen.
and play.
Right, because
Yeah.
some MDs are newer, and if you just start singing in B flat, they
Oh,
might
they'll be
not
so
know how to play
confused.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
like I
Sam is
really
a pro.
I really got that sense from Sam. I was
Yeah.
like, this is a called shot, but I think I like feel confident.
It's one of
Well,
those
and
know
that's-
the rules to break the rules thing. It's
Yeah.
one of those things you're not supposed to do, but then when you do it with someone you can trust, it rocks.
Yes.
Yeah. And
But
it's
I just
such a
felt it-
power move
I
because it
felt
just
it
shows
coming
that you
up.
trust everybody around you. And,
Yeah.
I trust myself. I trust the team. Like, we're going to nail this.
Uh-huh.
And it, yeah.
Because basically I had just said like, well, I have to tell you something, like there are ghosts. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't
And you
really
go,
want to.
there are ghosts.
I was like, I don't really want to say it
here."
again,
Yeah.
but I do kind of want to sing it.
And if you go back, I think that was the first time I had ever seen that, honestly, when you did it.
Really?
I'm your
And-
Curtis Rutherford.
And
in
I
so
think you
many
can
ways.
really, I think even because I made a reel out of that too, so I'm well aware of what my face did in that
Yeah.
moment. And because I hate editing videos of myself.
Hey.
But you can see me be like, at one point I'm just laughing because I was like, this is awesome. This was so
You're
cool.
allowed to do
Yeah.
this?
Yes, but
Yeah.
truly, like he inspired that feeling in me, and then I chased
Wow.
it for 6 years or something in
Yeah.
between those two things happening. So yes, that's what I mean. Also being like that thing of like I watched people who were like at the top of their game in like terms of like theory, form,
Yeah.
teaching, and then I also watched people who were like just so willing to take risks and fall on their ass and like be a maniac. And when I say a maniac, I don't necessarily mean a person who's like gonna cannibalize a scene and is only there for themselves and like,
Mhm.
I'll say something insane. Like, I don't feel aligned with that person. But there are people who just like say things and play characters and do shit where you're just like, I genuinely didn't know that was allowed. But now that I've
Yeah.
seen it, I'm like so greedy to like be one of those people and like be like, I can do that. Oh my God. Like, I want to get to the place where I feel confident enough
Yeah.
to like be that
And you were
person.
talking about being like a logical performer, and I think I can relate to that too. But every now and then I'm like, the most logical thing I can do right now is be a maniac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
Maniac is
funniest
so
thing I
fun.
can do right now is be big,
What would you say then, having come from New York and now being in LA?
Yeah.
What would you say is like, you mentioned LA has a really cool indie scene.
Yes.
Which was missing in New York.
New York did not really have like a robust indie scene, but I think the education of musical improv in New York is excellent,
Mhm.
and I can say that sort of almost without what's the word I'm looking for when you're not unbiased because I
Mhm.
kind of didn't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
sort of lied into it. It's like I actually feel even more qualified to from the outside be like, that's great training. That's a really great way to teach that concept that I didn't learn in a class and had to learn from watching other people. Cool. Because New York has musicals.
Mhm.
And the thing that I think New York teaches extremely well is it's a musical improv show. Yes. So it has to be good improv. But there's another half of that word, which is music.
Yes.
Mhm.
The music has to sound good. The music has to feel good. And primarily, you have to act like you're in a fucking musical.
Mhm.
And I feel that other educations, sorry, LA, but also in LA, not everybody, because there are some really
Sure.
incredible teachers in LA, obviously. But like,
No, let's get you canceled. Say it.
yeah, say it. No, but like, LA is the place for like stand up and TV and film. And like, I think that like improv sometimes can feel that way too,
Mhm.
where it's a little smaller and a little realer and a little cooler. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of times and again, this is my from afar take. Watching a lot of LA improv sometimes feels like you are watching people largely play themselves, where it's
Yes.
they're bringing that a little bit more.
Mm.
And again, it could just be that we're getting more of the celebrity big names out here, but there are some folks that it's like, oh, I just kind of feel like I'm watching you, and you're
Right.
doing great work out
You're the
there,
funniest person I've ever
but it's
seen.
not that full embodiment of character that you see elsewhere.
New York was very much like you would just like you would get notes on a set where you would just be like it would be like the moves were good and the song was good, but like you didn't play in grandma. You introduce yourself as grandma and you didn't talk like a grandma? Like, fuck you. Do you know what I mean? Like, teachers
Yeah.
would literally be like, I'm disappointed. Like, that
Wow.
song could have been so much better if you had just like hunched over and had a walker and like talked in your best grandma voice. Like, I don't care. Like, do it.
Yeah.
And so like, I do think like that is like a thing that comes from New York. And so like when I meet people from New York and that thing when I was like, wait, no, my education was in New York. It's like, now that I'm a coach and I'm coaching people, especially in LA, I'm like, please, 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 let's not forget, especially if it's a narrative.
Yeah.
We're in a musical. You have to talk like you're in a music. Like you have to like give it the energy and the oomph and the thrust of a musical. And so sometimes when people like don't know how to initiate scenes or cue a song,
Mhm.
I'm like, well, why don't we just pretend we're in a musical?
Mhm.
Like what would Ariel say if part of your world was about to start?
Mm.
She doesn't just go like, man, my dad sucks. Do 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 do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like she has
yeah.
to like she
Yeah.
talks and like gets wistful and she starts
She yearns.
and then a great accompanist will feel the yearning and know what kind of song to play because you in the world in the parlance of a musical have said like this is going to be an I want song.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's going to be very sincere I want. It's going to be like a part of your world-esque I want song. Like that's what I am telegraphing and
Mhm.
you are taking my half of the handshake and providing your half of the handshake. Because like I talk about that a lot with coaching where I'm like, you know, when you are like, you think you're going to have like a scene where it's like you're playing a scene and it's you and your partner and you're in the front seat of a car and you just left a dinner and you're the energy's weird
Mhm.
and you're sort of in a little bit of a fight. And in your mind, you're like, we're going to sing a semi-emotional duet. We're at top of show here. Maybe it's like a dual I want song. And we're
Mhm.
just like, we're going to show we're not on the same page, but you don't show that well enough or you don't really like live in that world enough.
Mhm.
And suddenly you're just being like, well, you know, that happens to me too. Like, you know, you don't really support me when your mom says something about me. And the piano's like, doom, 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 doom,
Mhm.
doom, doom. And you're like, oh shit. Like I suddenly need to like fully, I thought I knew what musical I was in and I thought I knew what emotional tentpole moment was happening here. And I actually have to fully reconceive of like what's going on in this moment.
Wow.
And I'm like, I really think that happens when you're not enough in the musical.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so inspired. I'm feeling so artistically fulfilled and like I need to be embracing the musical part of musical improv more.
I just think like here's the funny thing about musical improv. I don't think you have to be a great singer. Some of the best
Agree.
musical improvisers I know are not good singers.
Yeah.
I think I will say you have to be able to keep a beat
Mhm.
and you have to be able to sing on key.
You have to be able to sing melody.
And honestly,
you don't have to
that's
harmonize,
it.
but you have to sing melody.
Yeah, that's it.
But I know a lot of amazing musical improvisers who aren't good singers, but are amazing at being in the musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like a good skill to have everywhere. And it's a good skill to have in like montage and other things too. But like it is like, to me, like the skill of narrative. Because you have so little runway
Yeah.
to do a full musical fast. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's like, I really do think that people who like know how to be like, oh, are we kind of doing like a little shop? That's fun. Like I'm kind of getting the vibe that we're like doing a little shop here. Like
Mhm.
we met our world. Our opening number was very like world based, and like we met a protagonist, and they're kind of like a disenfranchised youth who like wants something more. And then when you're thinking of like, okay, well, who could be like the antagonist in this life or whatever, and you're like, well, if we're kind of doing a little shop, like I might as well like lean in,
Yeah.
and you like play a character more like that, or like make sure you live in. I don't know. It's just like there's
I
ways
like
to
that.
live in the world
Yeah.
and just be like, hey, are you getting the same vibe I'm getting? Are we kind of doing a little shop? Tight.
Love that.
Let me make half this handshake and let
Yeah.
me see if you know what I'm laying down.
I
'Cause
love
if you don't, I'll
that,
be like,
that
"Eh,
mind
whatever."
reading
Yeah.
stuff on stage. Nothing feels as good as that.
I agree. I think that's like my favorite thing about improv.
Yeah.
Because then it's really fun. The thing that's like, fun about musical improv that's more fun than regular musicals, because like I have a lot to say about musicals also, is that like musical improv can live in a musical and then take an amazing hard pivot. And you can't really do that in a musical.
Yeah.
A musical. You know what I mean? You can't be
Mhm.
like, oh my God, we're in Little Shop. And then suddenly like some insane move derails or we go to
Yeah.
someplace else or we flash to the future. Like in a musical, we would be like, I don't know what fucking happened. But in musical improv, you totally can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
And we do.
Because nobody leaves a music improv show going, what a great plot.
yeah.
What a great
Do
story.
you know what I mean? Like you can be like 3/4 of the way through a musical improv show that suddenly becomes about like the Kennedy assassination. If
Right.
everybody's on board and you're like, we're going,
Mhm.
it can be wonderful.
Well, and especially the audience at that point feels like they're in on the joke. Like they're like, yeah, we're going. You know what I mean? Like that's
Exactly.
when it really feels good when the audience is on board with you and your random changes and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So like that's what I like really love about. That's what I loved about my New York education that I'm like
Mhm.
really trying to be a good teacher of and a champion of in LA as well. Because everybody in LA
That's
is
great.
so smart, and the education out there is great, and everybody's amazing at rhyming, and everybody's amazing at structure. But the thing that I'm like really trying to be like, wait, I want more of this is like be in the musical.
Wow.
The like emotion of it.
The emotion,
Yeah.
caring,
no care say.
no care say.
Yeah. I'm so bummed that we weren't able to do a musical with you on your trip out to Chicago.
come back in
I guess you just
Oh
come back.
no.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about and we didn't ask you about?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything
You've
you
done a
just-
few of
just
these
wanna
like
brag
interviews
about?
and press things.
even
but-
just in your life?
I don't know. I will say if you're in LA, I am on a team now that's like kind of like the home base for indie musical improv shows,
Plug
Yeah.
it.
which
do
I
it.
love. The team's called Candy Apple Red, and they've been around for like over 3 years.
Mhm.
So I've only been on the team now for like, I don't know, 6 months. But I was very, very honored to join the team, not just because like they're a good team, but because like they're sort of like the mommy and daddies of like the indie scene.
Mhm.
Because they have a show that's the first and third Wednesdays. We have a show that's the first and third
Yay.
Wednesdays of
Aw.
every month. And it's always 3 teams with the third team being Candy Apple Red is like the anchor team.
Mhm.
But it's often teams who are like having their first show.
Oh.
Or it's like a team that's like, we are a team. Will you do montage because we have to do it at UCB, but like this is our first time trying a new form. And they'll be like, this is our safe place to like try
Wow.
it and be like, we're doing our first Pretty Flower or whatever it is, whatever.
That's so great for the
Spokane.
community. I love
Yeah.
that.
And I love that. I love that it's like a warm show where people come and laugh and it's always really well attended and it's like friends supporting friends, but also like lots of like strangers just walk in and it's just like, it's such a lovely supportive environment. And I really love being like a leader in the space.
Mhm.
It makes me feel very happy. And it's like the thing I think I'm like the most proud of besides this book in like the last like year of my life is being like,
Wow.
okay, I'm not just a musical improviser. I'm like one of the people can like go to the show and feel safe.
Oh,
And then,
That's
or like
wonderful.
be like, ask a question after and be like, I noticed you made this move and like, you kind of said no. And it's like, right. Okay, cool. That's a really good question.
yeah.
I was kind of saying no, but like, we weren't really saying no because
Yeah.
we were egging each other
Right.
on to throw the backpack. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
and it's like, and then being like,
exactly.
oh my God, yeah, I do see that. And it's like, yeah, like I knew I was going to throw Lily's backpack, but she knew it too. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
my
And so when I said,
God.
no, don't throw that.
Right. I
it
was telling
yeah.
her to throw it. And like, they'll be like, yeah, okay. Like, and I I could eat that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I
Yeah,
love that
it's
so
like,
much.
It's like a
Wow.
candy apple.
Like
one
a
might
candy
even
Apple Red.
say.
Great name too. Wow.
Yeah,
it's
it's
Candy
great.
Apple
It's
Red.
evocative.
It's so fun. And those, like, everybody on the team is like wonderful. And yeah, I just love it.
So yeah, if you're in LA, absolutely go check that out. Go see it. Go submit for it. I
Yeah.
guess at least
We
go
did
see.
before I was on the team, RJ came out to LA for New Year's and I like made they were like, we're not going to do a show on 1/1. I was like, can you please do a show on 1/1? I have a friend in town. I want to do a mashup to the team. I just like made, like, I was like, please do a show. So I did their first show of the year and RJ, we like did like a little mashup team with people. It was
RJ
really
also
fun.
from Big One's
Fringe,
Candy,
Big One's
Shamilton.
because he's in New York.
New York.
So.
RJ
RJ
also on
Williams.
our list of must-haves eventually for this
Yeah.
podcast.
When he does a book tour and comes through Chicago,
Can't
we'll
wait.
nab
Yeah.
him too.
Can't
So yes,
wait.
yes, if you're in LA, go see that or whatever else is going in LA. Go submit for a commercial or something. If you're in New York, there's all kinds of stuff to see. If you're in Chicago, there's all kinds of stuff to see. Wherever you are, go see a live show.
Yeah, go see a live show.
And if not, why don't you read a book?
yeah, a fantastic
Yeah,
book.
try reading a book.
A great book that you can get right now.
I'm so glad that you liked it.
I loved it.
Did you cry?
I did not cry because I read the saddest part on the train, and that I think I had to be a little bit restrained. But I was on the train, and I was like, no, I got to the really sad part, and I don't want to spoil
Oh my
anything.
God.
It was you were like asleep next to me, and I was like, I
Hot.
gotta pull it together right now. I gotta pull
Wow.
it together.
Okay.
Oh, you could cry if I'm asleep.
And I remember the really sad part happened, and then I closed the book, and then I was like, I will pick that back up tomorrow. I
Yeah.
can't do this right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
well, I
Wow.
can't wait to read it.
You have to go read. We have reached the end of our show. It is so good.
I know it sounds
Yay.
like we're saying we have reached the end of our show because we have, but the book is called
The book is awesome.
Oh, that's
We
very
Have
clever.
Reached the End of Our Show
Yeah.
by Allie Gordon.
That's the name of the book.
Yeah, it's truly fantastic. You
Yay.
will be signing this before you leave.
Yeah.
here today.
Oh, yeah.
I already signed your table.
I also have I have a shelf. Lily knows. I have a shelf at home that is all of my friends' things that they've done, and this is going right in the middle.
Aw.
Oh,
of
yeah,
it,
we
'cause
have a
this is-
shelf of
yeah.
art our friends have made.
Yeah,
Wait, I
of
love
different
that.
books,
Including
and
a book.
art
My
and things.
aunt is also an author, and she had a dream realized this year where she said, I went into a library and I picked my book
That's
off the
amazing.
shelf.
Mhm.
Are you going toward that?
I would like to. I haven't been to any libraries to check yet, to be honest.
I don't know how that works.
I guess like they just have to have it in
Yeah.
circulation, because not every library has every book.
Wait,
Right.
also, please brag for a minute about your play that you wrote that high schools are now doing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so my other
I'm so bad at wrapping this
No,
up.
this
We
is
have
fine.
not reached the end of
We
our
have
show.
not reached the end of our show. So like my other job, and like partly really one of the reasons why we moved to LA is that I write musicals with my writing partner. Her name is Angela Parrish. She is wonderful. I don't write music. I'm very happy to improvise music.
Sure.
And very frequently in our writing sessions, I'll be like, I had an idea for sort of like a pre-chorus that I'll be like, zum, zum, zum. And then she'll be like, oh, like this, and it'll be like so
good.
much better.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that. Don't just listen back to what I said. Like, do what you said.
Yeah.
And so like we met and we wrote this first show together on Zoom entirely, which is crazy because I didn't think you could kind of write on Zoom, but it turns out you kind of can.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And so we did like part of this writing process together in person, but like I would say like most of it was on Zoom. And the musical that we wrote together first is called Power Trip.
Mhm.
It's based on an original idea I had. It's like a fantasy comedy musical. And I wrote it for high schools. I didn't write it to go to Broadway. I mean, it'd be so cool if
I
it did.
remember we
but, like,
talked about this last time you were on.
Oh yeah.
And
oh my God.
I think you said
Yeah.
my dream is for a high school to do this
it.
play, and now 3 high schools
I
are
have 3
doing
high
it.
schools doing Power Trip.
Dreams come true.
I'm like so excited to see high schoolers
3.
do it because they basically, to make a very long story short, when I was in New York, I was working as like a theater educator as like an after school job.
Mhm.
And we would I used to call it the war room because we'd have to decide what musical we were doing with the kids at the end of the year. And we could never pick a show because especially when it comes to being educational theater, you have a commitment to not repeating shows.
Mhm.
So if we had kids who were doing the program since the time when they were 10, of which we had many,
Mhm.
if they did Pippin Jr., if they did Beauty and the Beast Jr., we
Yeah.
couldn't repeat it when they were in high school because their parents would be like, we already paid you to do this.
You can only be a Wickersham brother so many times.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so like they were very much like, if any of these kids have done Seussical already, we're not
Uh-huh.
doing Seussical, which left the pool of shows very small. And then on top of that, it was even smaller because the cast wasn't big enough. There were too many men. There weren't enough women. It was really inappropriate. It was too much of a baby show. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there was like nothing that was like PG-13 and had like a flexible cast between like 11 and 40.
Wow.
And especially like was funny. So I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, why don't I just write one? Like instead of like wishing these shows existed, like what if I wrote one and just like started just pitching it to high schools, not going through the full route of being like, we'll do an out-of-town try it in DC and then it'll go off
Right.
Broadway and then
It's
it'll
gotta
go to
run
Broadway.
for a bit.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what about if we skip all of that and I just like email some high schools and go like, do you want to do my musical? Like if you're having trouble finding something, like let me know. And so like I did get some responses from some musicals. And so like this year kids are doing Power Trip, which I'm like,
That
so
is
excited.
so
Are you going to go to all
cool.
3?
I am definitely going to go to one in Oregon
Okay.
and I'm definitely going to go to one in San Diego.
Okay.
So
And we'll start a Kickstarter to get to the 3rd one.
yeah.
Oh my
And also,
gosh.
if more high schools want to do it, please.
Yeah.
Please do it. And, I just want to come out and see it.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So
We're so proud of
Thank
you.
you.
What a
But yeah.
year. What a year. What a
What a year.
Wow.
But yeah, so then Angela and I got hired to write Gross Profits,
Right.
which went to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. And I was like looking down the line at writing another musical on Zoom with her. And I was like, is this stupid? Like I have this like amazing writing partner who I work really well with, who goes and pitches our songs on spec to places and I don't
Mhm.
go. She'll be like, I hope it goes well. And I'll be like, have fun. And I'm like sitting at home just being like, I hope that it's going well.
Mhm.
And I was like, what am I so stupid? Like I should probably live like where the person I work with is.
Oh, yeah.
And there were other things too. Like I have some family out there and but like that was like a big one, was just being like, I can't believe I'm looking down the barrel of like writing another show with this person and not being there for the performances or for the rehearsals. Like they were all going
Yeah.
to rehearse it and I was like going to not be at the rehearsals. And I was like, am I stupid?
No.
Nah.
Could be.
You want to be where the people are.
I want to be, I
Oh
want to
my
be in the room
gosh.
where it happens.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Write down a song.
Hold on. That's
should write a
really
Hamilton
good.
really
Hold on.
good,
That's
guys.
really good.
Oh, that's really good.
Hold on. I've been reading this book recently about this founding father that everybody forgot about.
You should.
You
The
think
founding
so?
father
musical.
without a father?
Uh-huh. Yeah. He got a lot
wait.
farther
Okay,
by being a lot
all right.
smarter.
We're
Oh
about
no,
to
you're gonna
It's really
rhyme. He's
good.
gonna shoot you.
It's really good.
Sam,
put the gun down.
Sam, please.
Oh no.
The AI
He almost didn't rhyme. I
summary
swear.
is like they rip off Hamilton and
and then
Austin
get
gets shot. Yeah.
and then a tornado picks him up and whisks him away.
Oh, if only.
Wow, if only. Oh my god, I would. No offense.
What
but
an ending,
If there was a
though.
video
Okay,
of you getting
well, I
taken
think-
away
We're
by a parent, I
filming
would
this,
watch it.
yeah.
We could talk probably for hours about this, but I think we all need to say in unison,
We have reached the end of our show. That was really cute.
Thank
Oh my
you so
God.
much, Allie.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. Yeah. You can keep on listening to Charm Scene. We got new episodes every single Tuesday. This has been a delightful little chat scene. We are discovering, I think Lily mentioned this, we're discovering how much we love doing these chat scenes.
Talking's fun.
We're trying to figure out like where it goes and where it lines up. But
I still do mostly musicals.
yes, mostly musicals, but we also love this. And so many of our wonderful guests have there's just so much interesting stuff to be said about the work that we do beyond just doing it over and over again.
Wow. Yeah.
So I hope if you're still listening, I hope you enjoyed this. Let us know in our Discord. We have an incredible little community growing. You can find links to that on our link tree on our Instagram. That's at Charm Scene Pod. Go ahead and follow us and tell your
Yeah.
friends all about it.
Also, if you are listening from Chicago, my event in Chicago will have passed.
yes.
But my event was at Volumes Book Cafe in Wicker Park. And so I know that they'll be carrying my book.
Mhm.
And so if you were like, I really want to support an indie bookstore and I don't want to buy this from Amazon and I live in Chicago, go to Volumes.
Amazing.
That sounds like most people who listen to this podcast, actually. So,
Probably.
yeah.
I've never been to Volumes. Tomorrow will be my first time going to
Hey.
Volumes, and I love a good local bookstore.
And apparently they've got a great little like cafe too in the front, like some coffee and stuff.
Love it.
So
Say no more.
say
Can't
no
wait.
more.
Well, fantastic. Well,
Yay.
thank you again so much, Allie, for
Thank
being here.
you.
Thank you for doing this with us.
We.
Yay. Lily, anything else? Am I forgetting anything?
And until next time, you
Ye-
just got chatted.
Bye.
Charm Scene.
Yay.
I'm hearing things.
Okay, good. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, I think we did it. And if we didn't, then this is just for us forever.
And
Yeah.
if anything went wrong, it was Sam's fault for not telling.
Yeah.